Fear is the most powerful force in human psychology. Stronger than logic, stronger than reason, stronger even than love. But here's the part no one wants to admit. Your fears don't always belong to you. Many of them have been engineered, crafted in boardrooms, amplified by media, whispered by leaders, and reinforced by the people closest to you. It's the shadow you can't escape, the silent puppet strings tugging at your mind, pushing you to act, obey, and conform. Think about it. Why do you follow rules you don't agree with? Why do you hesitate to speak up when you know you should? Why do you buy products you don't need or trust people who clearly don't deserve it? Because someone, somewhere, has learned to control you with fear. And tonight, we're going to unravel it all. From the hidden psychology behind fear manipulation, the psychology of fear, why it hijacks your mind. Fear isn't just a feeling. It's a survival code written into your DNA. Thousands of years ago, fear kept your ancestors alive. A rustle in the bushes, fear said, run. A snake's hiss, fear said, don't touch. But here's the sinister twist. What once protected you is now exploited to control you. When you feel fear, your brain activates the amygdala, the alarm system. Cortisol floods your body, heart rate spikes, blood rushes to your muscles, preparing you to fight or flee. But the most important thing, your logical brain shuts down. That means when you're afraid, you're not thinking critically, you're reacting, you're obeying. Psychologists proved this in the 1960s with Stanley Milgram's infamous obedience experiments. Participants were told to deliver electric shocks to strangers. The shocks weren't real, but they didn't know that. Over 65% of participants kept shocking people even when they thought they were causing extreme pain, all because an authority figure told them to. Why? Because fear of disobeying authority overpowered empathy and logic. Fear in everyday life, the silent manipulators. You don't have to live under a dictator or watch propaganda TV to experience fear manipulation. It happens in the smallest, most personal ways. Relationships, toxic partners thrive on fear. They plant doubts. No one else will ever love you like I do. They use threats of abandonment, silent treatment, or emotional withdrawal to keep you obedient. You don't leave, not because you're happy, but because they've convinced you to fear being alone. Workplace, your boss might never raise their voice, but the threat is always there. You're lucky to even have this job. That subtle fear of losing income makes you overwork, stay late, and sacrifice your health just to keep your place. Friendships and social circles. Even friends weaponize fear. Fear of being excluded keeps people gossiping, following trends, and saying yes when they want to say no. Fear of social rejection is one of the oldest tricks in the book, and one of the most effective. Here's the chilling part. Once fear trains you into obedience, you stop needing an external manipulator. You become your own jailer. You silence your own voice before anyone else can. Media, politics, and the business of fear now. Let's step back and look at the bigger picture. Because individuals manipulate with fear, but entire industries profit from it. The media, the news cycle doesn't survive on calm headlines. Everything is fine today doesn't make you click, but crisis, outbreak, violence that hooks you instantly. Fear triggers survival instincts, which means more attention, more views, more ad revenue. That's why 90% of what you see on the news is negative. Not because the world is truly falling apart, but because fear sells. Politics. Fear is the oldest tool of rulers. In times of crisis, leaders expand their power, and people accept it without question. During the Cold War, governments used fear of nuclear destruction to justify massive military budgets and surveillance. After September 11th, fear of terrorism reshaped laws and gave rise to a culture of constant suspicion. Advertising marketers are psychologists in disguise. They don't just sell products. They sell safety from fear. Fear of aging, anti-wrinkle creams, fear of weakness, gym memberships, fear of being left out, luxury brands. Every purchase is packaged as a shield against fear. And once again, you don't question it. You just obey the impulse to protect yourself. Breaking the cycle. How to resist fear manipulation. Here's the hard truth. You can't eliminate fear. It's part of you, but you can stop it from controlling you. Awareness. The moment you feel fear rising, pause. Ask yourself, who benefits if I panic right now? If someone else gains power, money, or obedience from your fear, you're being manipulated. Slow down. Fear thrives on urgency. Act now. Don't wait. Danger is coming. That's why scams, propaganda, and even toxic people push immediacy. If you can delay your reaction, You rob fear of its control. Reframe. Fear shows you what matters most. Instead of letting it paralyze you, flip it. Fear of failure. That means growth is near. Fear of rejection. That means you're stepping outside comfort zones. Use fear as a compass, not a cage. Courage over comfort. At the end of the day, escaping fear manipulation isn't about knowing tricks. It's about willpower. You'll have to choose discomfort. You'll have to stand your ground. You'll have to risk disapproval, risk rejection, and sometimes even risk failure. Now that you see how fear-based manipulation works, the question becomes, what will you do with this knowledge? You can ignore it, go back to scrolling, consuming, and obeying without realizing. Or you can wake up. You can refuse to let fear own your choices. The next time you feel anxiety rising, stop and ask yourself, is this my fear or someone else's weapon? Because once you start seeing fear for what it really is, manipulation, you'll never be the same. Remember, the world will always try to use your anxiety against you. But now you have the tools to fight back. Stay sharp, stay unshaken, and never let fear own you again.